Today I'm going to show you the power of an accent wall in a room. I love doing an accent wall, whether it's one wall that's painted a different color, wallpapered, stenciled, or some kind of architectural detail like a beadboard, shiplap. It can really make a dramatic statement in your space. I'll show you the details behind this DIY project and what is next for my French country inspired bedroom. Welcome to the Peaceful Home. I'm so glad you've joined in today. I'm Teresa Elling. I'm a professional organizer and parenting coach, and we talk about all things home and family on this channel. We're at the last few days of a no-spend month in February, and this one actually has been my toughest one ever. I don't know if that's because I announced it to all of you, and so many of you joined in and said you were doing this too, which actually was very inspiring for me. In fact, it was several viewers that said they were going to work on not only decluttering and not thrifting, not going on Facebook Marketplace, but also finishing unfinished projects, working on craft projects that have sat idle for some time. And that reminded me that I had had all of the supplies for shiplapping one wall in my bedroom for almost a year. I can't believe this stuff sat in my garage for a year and I just kept procrastinating. And finally, with the help of my wonderful husband, he's like, let's just do it. We can get it done. And it took a few days because I had to space it out around other activities and work and all that. But we did get it done this week, and I want to tell you a little bit about the process. I'm sure you could find other YouTube channels with more detail, but I'll just do a little overview. I used a plywood underlayment. It's very easy to get at any hardware store. When I did go to purchase it, it was on sale, so I was so excited. And I'm not sure the price of everything. I'll figure it out and I'll put it on the screen. But it wasn't a very expensive project. I already had the paint because this is the standard white paint that I use throughout my home. And the only additional thing we needed were some trim pieces for the edges. And optional would have been the ceiling, but we chose not to do that. What makes this project so easy is that I had the hardware store rip the plywood into 6-inch strips. Now, I could have done this at home, but the machine they have for this makes it so easy and it goes so quick, and they didn't charge me anything. Sometimes they'll charge a slight fee per cut, and even then it's completely worth it. From there, I did a quick sand just to get the rough spots off, spots where little pieces of wood were beginning to peel off, just the tops and the 2 edges. Next, I put all the wood on its side and I used a roller to hit both skinny edges with white paint. That way I didn't have to try to paint in between the cracks once I got the shiplap up. Then I had to paint my wall. Now, we learned from the shiplap that we put up downstairs, the wall was kind of a peach color, and I thought, the gap is so narrow, no one's gonna see that. Wrong. My husband, to this day, he's like, oh my gosh, I still see the peach color between the cracks. Drives him crazy. Eventually, we probably will repaint the whole thing or spray it. So I painted the entire wall first. Next, we locate the studs and mark those so that you are using your nail gun to go into a stud for each piece of plywood. We wanted to use as many 8-foot pieces as possible, so we didn't have any waste, but we also cut other pieces down to 4 feet and even smaller, and then we staggered them so that we had the seams randomly around the wall. You don't have to have a nail gun, but it sure is helpful. It made this project go so quickly. And we used nickel spacers, which is an actual nickel. My husband and I each would have one in our pockets. We'd pull it out. We'd push the next strip up against the nickels and then hit it with the nail gun into the studs. This went pretty quick. We had the whole thing done in a couple of hours. I actually left on a trip, and my husband finished the last little section and did the trim before I got back. I would highly recommend spraying if you can. I often feel it isn't worth it to spray because of the masking that you have to do and cleaning up the paint sprayer and all of that. But with this, I think it would be helpful because when you're using a roller, you have to be very cautious that you are not getting paint in the cracks. I kept a spackle knife in my back pocket and used it constantly to clean out the cracks of any excess paint. I forgot to tell you that I did spackle over the nail holes, just a tiny bit with my finger and smooth it out. And then I spackled the vertical seams as well. It took about 2.5 coats, 2 full coats, and then I just kind of looked around with different lighting at different angles. And if I saw any places that didn't quite look covered, I would just do a really thin 3rd coat. I had planned on doing the shiplap around the outlet covers and the switch plate covers, but my husband is a genius. I didn't even know that this was an option. He bought spacers that are used to go behind the screws, and it pulls the outlet or switch out so that you can mount the cover plate on top of the shiplap. Here's what the shiplap looks like now, all finished. We got all the furniture put away, and I am very happy. This really turned out beautifully, and I love the brightness that it brings to the room, as well as the depth and texture. Now, I will tell you, you guys really came through for me when I was doing my downstairs project. I had that new little shelf next to my stairs, and I couldn't decide if I was going to put up 4 smaller prints or 1 large one. And I had the most comments I have ever received, hands down. I'd have to look and see how many comments I got, but you guys jumped in there, gave me your opinion, and it was so helpful. I feel like I have the same dilemma again. My original plan was to do a gallery wall above the bed. I've been thrifting frames and artwork for some time now, and I have so many prints that I love. I was looking at my room as a whole, and I really have a gallery wall of mirrors right here. And I love the mirrors, but I'm almost wondering if it's going to look just too cluttered to do a gallery wall here. Now, my husband asked about the painting that's leaning against my antique drop leaf table. And this is a painting that is very special to me. It's of our cabin in the mountains, the river nearby. And a good friend painted it, and I love it so much. It's an absolute treasure. It's kind of one of those things. I actually have 2 paintings that I would grab if our house was on fire. This one and one of my husband that our friend Kevin painted. So my husband was asking, wow, what about this painting over the bed? And that got me thinking, oh my goodness, should I just do 1 large single over the bed? Same dilemma, and I really don't know what to do. I'm also struggling because I have the Bakersfield map here behind the armoire. It's just hanging there so it's protected. I don't have another place to put it. I do not want to roll it up and stick it in a closet and risk damaging it, so I've just left it up on the wall. So another option would be do the gallery wall above the bed, take down the mirror wall and put the map there. So that's one big solid right there. I also have this antique mirror that was from my great-grandparents, another thing they brought over from France. And I would love to put this up somewhere. And so far I don't have a spot. It could go in a guest room when I'm ready to do that. But another option would be to put that above the drop leaf table with some artwork around it. So now I'm just full of possibilities and I can't make a decision. And sometimes that's just the way it is. Sometimes I know exactly what I want to do, and other times I'm just not sure. And you just have to wait. You have to wait and, go through things in your mind and maybe look at some things on Pinterest until something really settles in and feels right. I did decide that I'm going to take down the little cabinet that is over the large painting and use that somewhere else. So that needs to happen. I do need new curtains. We realized in our bedroom having blackout curtains would really be nice, especially since the sun rises right here over the river, comes straight into our window in the morning. And when we do want to sleep in, which is rare, it's very nice to have those blackouts. So that means getting some new curtains. And then there's one last thing to do in this room. Do you guys want to see my next project? Heading out to the garage, but I thought I'd show you some of the work that's happening across the river. We've got a bunch of dead trees and we've been doing some trimming and pruning, and so that's going up in a burn pile today. Ignore my messy garage, But these are my new nightstands. And they're really a mess right now. I got them on Facebook Marketplace, but look at these beautiful handles. I love the curves on these. The wood is beautiful. The gentleman that had them started to strip them, and so I'm going to have to finish the process. I would love to just strip them down and do a raw wood, but I haven't decided yet. But beautiful details. Thank you for watching my DIY shiplap project, as well as the ongoing projects I have for this room. I would love to hear your thoughts below in the comments. Another thing I'm trying to figure out is color of curtains. So if you have any input on that, let me know. I would love to do a pattern, but I'm super picky and I don't know if I'd find the right thing. So I would either go with the charcoal gray or a cream or a white. I've yet to really dive into that topic yet, but if you have thoughts, let me know. If you enjoyed today's video, would you please give it a thumbs up? It helps out my channel so much. And would you cast your vote for content like this simply by subscribing? It's completely free and it just tells YouTube what type of things you enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Peaceful Home. Have a great day.